Hi, all you entrepreneurs. Today we have Mark Miletello. He's been in the insurance industry for about 3 decades. He got in the business when he was 18. He has a lot of great insights. He talks about how he came from a solo agent to building a team to building platforms. Take a listen. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends.
Welcome to the road to growth, success of an entrepreneur.
We've raised the bar.
Learn firsthand from successful business owners and create your own path to success.
I'm going to show you how great I am.
It's time to hit the road to growth with real estate agent Vinny SD.
We are here with Mark Miletello. Just think yellow, right?
Yeah, that's it, Miletello.
He's been a insurance agent, runs a team since you're 18, right?
That's right.
Okay, so what brought you into the business, an 18-year-old, and kept you in the business?
Well, I've been in insurance all my life.
Okay.
I mean, I can tell you some stories about when I was 6 and 7. I think I sold my first insurance policy. My dad shoved me in the door. But no, my father was a life insurance agent, and later did Medicare supplements and health insurance. And I was just around it. And so at 18, my father, didn't give me anything. He said, go get licensed and go make it yourself. And so, I was introduced to insurance, and it was a wonderful opportunity to have that inspiration to go do that, because I ended up supporting myself through college and, of course, made a career out of it. So.
Wow. So your dad was in the insurance industry?
Yeah, he was one of the leaders in the country, leading salesperson with W. Clement Stone, who was the first billionaire in the insurance world, and he was the top agent with Combined Insurance back in the day. So I had a pretty good person to look up to.
Did you have any doubts about basically following your father's footsteps?
Definitely, because he wouldn't pay me too well. So anytime you work in any job and you don't get paid, you don't love it. So no, I was going into law. I joined the military to get GI Bill, and of course that was during the Gulf War, and so had to face the idea of going to war. But of course that was short, and I'm still here. Yeah. But I'm honored to be in the company of those who did fight. With insurance, no, actually I didn't love it, because he had me telemarketing. Oh, wow. And he had me door knocking, and he had me licking stamps and envelopes to thousands of mail outs. So, and people say, well, Mark, that's why you are who you are today. And yeah, I guess so. It has to be. But I didn't love that part of it. I didn't love the rejection at such a young age. Yeah. But, I think because of that, I can help others not go through a lot of the trials and the spinning your wheels, so to speak, of the 10-year struggle that I had to launch my business.
What can you talk about some of those struggles that, like, over that 10-year? What were some like the big down points that maybe made you question staying in the business?
Well, I think first of all, being young in the business. I mean, whether that be young, period, because I was literally 18, sitting in front of a 7-year-old, asking them to cut me a check for $2,000. You can imagine what their perspective was. Being young in the business, and so that's why a lot of the things maybe we're going to talk about today led me to building systems and sales processes and software and things like that, and literally going from one of the top agents in the country with one of the oldest and largest insurance companies to management and leading others. And so I think that comes from my heart being with that new person that's jumping into the industry. And I think real estate and insurance, we have a lot in common.
Yeah,
it's sales.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to market, right? You have to gain clients. You have to work your tail off. There's a lot of correlations between what we do. So yeah, those first 10 years mainly was struggling as being young, being new in the business, and not really knowing what to go and what platforms or programs, because from a beginner, where do you go to get help? I mean, there's thousands. You Google it. There's thousands of people that want to tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
But what works for you may be totally unique.
Yeah. No, definitely. We have so much technology out there, but it's such an abundance of technology that
it's almost overwhelming.
Exactly.
Yeah?
It's overwhelming. Yeah. So you can't find that true information. Like, even for the real estate, there's different laws that happen in different areas, different states, different ways of the process. And so if you look on there, you might have the right information, but for the wrong state.
Well, let me say this, because I've done a lot of research in this. Yeah. I think realtors, real estate agents have too much information. Whereas if you Google how to sell life insurance in San Diego, California,
Yeah.
you get a dog trainer.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that's what I did, and I realized that we don't know where to go because ours is not. Our companies in general, when they build something for $10 million, they don't like to share it.
Yeah.
So our companies aren't really sharing like maybe a lot of the real estate agents have had. So I think that's one issue, is that maybe you guys have too much information. Sometimes we don't have enough information. So I saw that as a blind spot to help others.
So how was that transition from being a dominant agent yourself to being a teacher?
Well, I'm still in the game. That's
Okay.
what makes me very unique, is that my passion is sitting with a client at 7 o'clock at night, showing them how to protect everything they love, okay, their assets, their family, because I was an agent in Louisiana when Katrina hit.
Yeah.
That's the number one insurance disaster in American history. So I've seen it all. I lost my best friend to cancer. I've been there when the food ran out and all the other, not to say anything about doctors and lawyers and CPAs, we all have our place, but in that situation, I was the last one standing there with a sizable check in my pocket to provide for that family's future. So when the food ran out, so I have a passion to do what I do. So to me, going into a management role is more about touching more people. I had won a lot of awards, had a successful career, but I'm still in the game is I think what made me different. I was on a meeting yesterday with a client that's a local business owner here that has a nursery.
Yeah.
So, I'm not so far removed, because I got to tell you, the first 7 years of going into management, I was not kind of in the game of selling.
Yeah.
I was in teaching, and I could see this is the way I used to do things. Things were becoming very rusty. And so, and look, Vinny, you know this, we are evolving at a crazy rate.
Yeah.
We need to evolve how we communicate with clients, how we market to clients, and we're still teaching methods, and some of those methods are great, and some are core and will never change, but we also need to evolve in how we're doing things. So that's what kind of motivates me, is that I'm still in the game. I'm still meeting with clients today. I've gotten back in the field, and I also am in the field with my agents, but my heart is to help touch more lives with what we do.
When you started at the age of 18, right? I'm not going to ask your age, but it was probably a little while ago.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
47.
Okay.
I don't mind.
Okay, fair enough.
47 in a month.
So at that time, when you first, I guess the perceived negative was you were so young, right? So you're talking to people that are in the 70s and so on and so forth, right? Yet technology was not where it is today, right?
Sure.
So the abundance of knowledge, or I guess non-abundance, but there's still some knowledge out there for your guys' systems. So you were, once you gained that respect, that level of respect of knowing what you know, and they kind of looked at you in that manner, they would probably listen to you because they only had one source of information that was coming at them. Now, today, it's easy to talk to one insurance agent over here, one insurance agent over here, and get all this different information. So how has that kind of changed the way you talk to people? I'm assuming there has to be some sort of difference from today.
Well, yeah, and I think it's the same in any sales, and especially real estate. Is how do you bring value at the end of it?
Yeah.
And people say that, and they throw that out there, and so, Vinny, let me just ask you.
Yeah.
I want your referrals. I want to work with you. I want your personal insurance.
Yeah.
And by the way, I give good service.
Yeah.
In fact, I give great service.
Yeah.
Well, you've been with your agent for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, do they give bad service? Because you wouldn't be with them if they did.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to stop thinking that our service level is. I mean, to me, it should be as good or better.
Yeah.
Okay, and then pricing. Okay, if we shop hard enough, we're going to find a real estate agent that will do this for less.
Yeah.
In fact, there's technology that says you don't even need a real estate agent.
exactly.
Just like in our world.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention any names, but you can think of some cavemen and ducks not ducks, but lizards that would have you believe that you don't need a professional.
Yeah.
Okay, so pricing is not a separator.
Yeah.
Service, should be the minimum should be good service, right?
Yeah.
So it really comes down to the value you bring, and so using me, how do I add value? Well, number one, you got to care. And that's a dying breed in any industry. I'm talking whether you're an attorney, a CPA. It's hard to find people in this day and time that you can tell truly care, because it's about big numbers and big production. And you're a number to most people, And so what does that mean? Well, but also being a professional. Okay, caring and being a professional, being the best at your art, the best at what you do. So when clients do business with me, they know I know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm teaching them things that maybe others haven't or haven't done in 10 to 20 years. And so that separates you as a professional in their mind. And then, of course, your price has to be competitive. But if you create value, let me give you this example. If your kid's sick and you go to the store and you're walking down this aisle and you see thousands of medicines on each side. I don't even know how to pronounce the name of all the ingredients. But you know the generic brand is the same as this brand because you've been taught that they're all the same, right?
Yeah.
But the packaging of that makes you think that one's better than the other. So which one do you buy? Do you buy the very cheapest for your child? Do you buy the most expensive, or do you buy somewhere in between? Whatever your answer is, it's typically not the cheapest.
Yeah.
And you may read all the ingredients and see the same ingredients. And let's talk about a car. Do you ever go to a car lot and say, give me the cheapest car you've got?
No.
No, because you want a better value in your mind of, does it have power this? Does it have a warranty on this? You could literally go to a car lot and buy the cheapest car. You could get out price-wise the best, but it may not be.
Don't get me going on cars. That'd probably be the worst. They see me going on there like,
well,
I don't know that much about cars.
Yeah, but I relay all this back to being an insurance agent or a real estate agent. If you create the value in the mind of a client, then the pricing becomes, it almost fades away. And I'm not going to say pricing's not important. Service is obviously important, but the value you create allows that client or that customer to say, you know what, I get it. It's not about saving $20 a month on my insurance. It's about having someone there that advises me correctly, that's going to be there when disaster strikes, which is most important, and then give me good service along the way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I totally agree with you. I think the unknown is what scares most people, right? And you want, like, I think the biggest reason why people go to Best Buy compared to Fry's, right, even though you're going to get a better deal at Fry's compared to Best Buy, is the customer service, right? When you go in there, unless you know what you're going to get, you're going to probably get lost a little bit.
Yeah.
But people go to Best Buy and they pay a little more because they have that customer service. I think the same thing happens with individuals. When they're talking to insurance, they're talking to realtors, whoever they might be, they want that level of customer service, and they want to know that you actually care about them, right? Those, I think, are the biggest differentiators between one person to the next.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know for myself, if I don't know what's going to happen next in the process, your mind starts playing tricks. You're saying, okay, well, this could happen now. Okay, this could happen now. But if I can pick up the phone and call yourself and just say, hey, what's happening next? And you kind of relate to me in the simplest of forms, it gives me peace of mind. I'm willing to pay a little more for that.
Yeah. Well, what if you can save in that same respect?
Exactly.
Because, a lot of times, and you know this, we end up saving people money in one way or the other.
Yeah.
And so that would be a win-win. But I think that's the main thing, is it looking at showing your customers that you care, and however you can do that. And I think we all think we do that, but sometimes I think we miss the mark on that. And caring means I'm there for you if you need me, and here's my cell number, and I'm available, and I will return your call in a timely manner, or I'm going to have a message that says I'm going to return it within 24 hours, and I do that. I don't go to sleep at night till my calls are returned, and my clients know that.
You have a passion. You can probably hear it for all you listeners out there, a passion for insurance, right? When was the last time? Because I know there was a time that you maybe thought, I want to get the business. And we talked about it briefly. Yeah. But when was the last time that you said, maybe I'm done with insurance? Yeah. Maybe I'm gonna, put the hat up. I'm done with this. When was the last time that happened?
Well, I wrote a journal. It ended up being a self-published book.
Okay.
And I'm not going to share it on this because I'm there's a lot of things I would change in it. But what was unique, and I go back and read that, and I've read it 10 times over the past 10 years, is that it was a journal of my struggles as a new agent. And I wanted to do that so that I never forget what got me here, because I knew if I had the right vehicle, I was going to be successful. I think regardless of where you are, what you're doing, one thing my dad taught me, if nothing else, is consistent and persistent effort will pay off, period. And maybe I was at the wrong vehicle as far as the company I chose in the beginning, but that was a stepping stone to where I've become. So I don't think it was a mistake. But he was right. It took time and effort. And I look back at that journal, now a book, and it reminds me of some of the struggles that a new agent faces, that a new producer faces. Where do I go to market? Where do I get a client? When my family and friends, if I even have family and friends, my whole family was already clients of my family. So I had nowhere to go, and so I had to figure out ways to connect with, and that's why we're now talking, is I had to figure out ways to connect to professionals out there, network, and get involved. But yeah, those struggles I remember, and I could talk another hour on that if you want.
At the time of those struggles, what pushed you through? Were you reaching out to your father? What was that?
Fear? No, my father really wasn't. I went in a different direction. I got away from health and started doing a different line of business, which was auto, home, life business. Yeah. And now, doing other things, but it was more of fear.
Fear.
I hate to say that, but I had a family to support.
Yeah.
I couldn't fail, and it was, to me, and I hate to say that was my motivator, but I couldn't fail. Failing was not an option. Yeah. So yes, I missed a month. I remember my third month in, I missed a paycheck, and I didn't have much to start with to begin with. So it almost crashed. I almost crashed and burned. So you need enough resources to weather the storm, no doubt. I was statistically, I should have failed. Yeah, because I didn't have the resources, the credit, I just had this. I will not quit. I will not die. And maybe that was my military training, that I felt like I was in battle with debt and failure every day. Yeah, and I may lose those battles, but I wasn't going to lose the war, because I knew consistent effort over time will pay off, no matter what I choose to do. Yeah.
So if you could look at your younger self, getting the business, 18 years old, or maybe a new agent that's looking to get in the business, what, from all that time all that knowledge that you've accumulated, what's some of the feedback you would give to your younger self, or maybe a new agent getting in the business?
Well, I definitely would have reached out more to. I think I was really good about that then. I would look at other successful people in the industry around me, and I would not try to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. I kept trying to reinvent my own wheel, where there was others I could just take their wheel, roll it myself, and then put my own personality into it. And you've got systems and processes. I've talked to you about it. So learn what you're doing, perfect what you're doing, become. See, if I can do exactly what you're doing, Vinny, everything you tell me to do, I will do, because I don't know real estate, and I'm just this white chalkboard. So everything you tell me to do, I'm going to do. But there's one thing that I can control. Yeah, I can only control one thing. I can't control the outcome. I can't control at the end of the year if I beat you in numbers. Yeah. I can control one thing, and that's the activity. So if I held a gun to your head and I said, Vinny, promise me you'll sell 10 homes this month. Now, you would obviously make that promise because you don't want me to pull the trigger, right? Yeah, but you could not back that promise up. Yeah. What you can promise me is, Mark, if I have to contact 200 people to have 100 appointments, to have 50 shows, to get 20 listings, to make, you can boil it down to the activity it requires. You can promise me, you can say, Mark, I can't promise you the results, but I can do the work. So what I look at is, my younger self, focus on the activity. Focus on the activity, because I can control my work ethic. Yeah, I can control getting up and doing the 10 things you told me to do to be successful today. Yeah. Until 3 of those start to work really good, and maybe 2 of those become my main area of marketing. I can control that. So there's one thing I can do, is I can outwork you. Yeah. And later I want to outsmart you, and that may take me some time, because you're pretty darn smart at what you're doing. But right now, that as a new rep, that's what I can control, is the activity. And if we focus on that activity, the results will come, because it's a numbers game. It always has been, always will be. Yeah. You may look better than me, you may talk better than me, but if I can outwork you, I can overcome and become successful like you are.
Oh, I've met some very, very attractive people and very smart people that don't pick up the phone or don't do the heart. And they still get some business, but not what they could get. Wasted potential.
Exactly. You know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean. So what's next for your company in the insurance industry? What do you see happening in the near future?
Well, it's concerning yet exciting. I think you can relate to this. There's again, websites, technology. There's major industry conferences that are out there trying to figure out how to replace us.
Yeah.
And as you know, my passion is that you need a professional, and sometimes you'll save money in the long run with that professional. In protecting and buying homes or whatever, you need a professional in these representations. So my thoughts are the change is coming. It's changing at a rate over the past 10 years. I went from licking envelopes to literally website leads generation to newest technologies advancements there are. I got a lead yesterday from an app called Nextdoor. And so things are happening all around us. My thoughts, Vinny, is bend that technology to your will. Okay, let me just give you an example. Uber has nothing to do with me and insurance, okay? But if I'm a person, and this may be a terrible analogy here, but so I have nowhere to go today. I have nothing, no one to see, nowhere to go. I don't know how to find a client under a rock. Maybe I go downtown and take $3 Uber rides all over town, because guess who Uber drivers are? They're family people. They're people like you and me, either driving in addition to work or driving full time for work. They have kids, they have spouses, they have renting, own homes. They are potential clients. So literally for $40, I can meet 15 people. So maybe I didn't use Uber, but I used the idea of Uber to I don't know. Maybe that was a lousy example.
Well,
bend technology to your will in the future is what I believe.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of technology avenues. They're going on that subject, but it's not technology based. But there is an agent that I was listening to a while back, and what they would do, they would just wait in the elevator in these 15-story buildings and have their business cards. When people would get in, they would talk to them until they got to their floor, and they're stuck there talking to them because
that
they have to
person
get to the
can't
floor.
fail. I mean, that's braver than I am. I think I'd rather flip burgers on the beach and grow my hair out than do that. But that's how persistent you have to be. If you're willing to do that, you will not fail. Now, I would hope for my team is to be the tip of the spear, help them break through these brick walls of technology and ideas and training, so that they don't have to sit in an elevator.
Exactly, yeah.
And they don't have to take Uber rides to get business. Yeah. And that's, again, how you and I met. I developed a software platform for my team. It's going viral, and My Agent Connector now has been adopted by some major insurance companies, but it wasn't built for that. It was built for my team to help them build relationships with real estate agents and loan officers, who is really our bread and butter of referral sources. Yeah. So, I mean, that kind of goes back to it. Don't reinvent the wheel, learn. And second thing, and I should have thought of this, don't be willing to split a sale. Yeah. I felt like I needed everything myself, but I was out there making these little bitty sales. Whereas I could have brought in Vinny to help me make the big sales. And splitting that sale with Vinny, I would have learned how you do it. I would have gained that knowledge, which would have been 7-figure knowledge, okay, and then the sale would have been much bigger. So don't be afraid to reach out and to bring others in, and don't think that because your sale may not be as big as bringing in those professionals.
One thing that I learned at a young age was the idea that something is better than nothing. And you could say, I'm going to do this myself, but if you don't know what you're doing, you might not get anywhere. But at least if you can take knowledge like from yourself or from other individuals that have been there already, you might have to pay part of it to that individual, but still you're going to get that knowledge base that you're talking about. Yeah. So if for new insurance agents, for people that just have questions about the industry, maybe they're just questions about insurance in general, how would they be able to reach you? Is there a website, or is there a phone number, or what would be the best way of getting in contact with you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm growing in San Diego, really all over California, so I'm bringing on agents all over the state. Now that I have the systems built, I believe there's 3 areas you have to do well in our industry to win, and that's marketing. Getting in front of people. Number 2, winning at any price, because you won't always be the cheapest all the time. And 3 is converting and selling all the products rather than just an auto or a home, really building a portfolio for a client and being their representative for all those needs. So I built those, and so now we're growing. So if you want to find me, there's a lot of ways. One is markmiletello.com, but if you can't spell that, it's insuranceagenttrainers.com, myagentconnector.com. valuesalespresentation.com, lifeinsurancetrainers.com. So there's a lot of ways to reach me because I built all these platforms, again, for my team, and now the industry is using them to help others succeed, which is, financially rewarding.
Yeah.
That's why we're in business. But, I've had a lot of success as business. This industry has been wonderful to me. So it's also to touch more lives and to help the new. Yeah, I love veterans. I'm there for the vets. I am a vet. But my heart goes out to the new people that need a place to start. They need a wheel to turn until they can make it their own wheel. It's funny. I teach agents all over the country. I actually spoke around the world last year with this accent. Can you believe it? And now the funny thing is, after a while, it was their idea. And I did the same thing. Everything I do great is from the greatest ever. Gary Kinder was my mentor. Van Miller, my dad, Sal Miletello, and many more to mention. Ken Gallagher, on and on and on of the wonderful industry leading mentors that I've had. But now it's all mine.
Yeah.
So that's good. When you get to that place where it's their idea, you've hit success as a leader. So, and then they're having success, which is what it's all about.
Well, Mark, thank you for all the information you gave us. Again, it's Mark Miletello. Just say yellow. That's the way.
Mellow Yellow.
Mellow Yellow.
Are you too young to remember the drink?
Oh, yeah.
Mellow Yellow?
No, I've never had that drink.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
What's in it?
Oh, well, it's kind of like a, what's the Mountain Dew? It was like a Mountain Dew. It was before
was
Mountain
it?
Dew. Yeah, but it's not.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
Anyway.
I've never had it.
Okay, well, maybe I need to come up with a new rhyme to my name. Yellow is fine. Miletello, Miletello.
Okay, perfect.
Miletello.
Thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Please share. And again, thank you, Mark.
Well, it's fun. Let's do it again.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you for listening to The Road to Growth, Success of an Entrepreneur. Please like, subscribe, and stay connected. Visit www.vinnySD.com.
Yeah, I created a website.
Hope to see you again next week. Team Vinny SD, signing off.